Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester. Now, as you've seen, Mark's not here this week, but do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your scandal. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I love my right hand. That's a quote from the most famous book in the world, Harry Potter. Now, a very Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Praise the Lord, for it's our choices, everybody, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. And that's from another very famous book, that's from the Bible. Now, coming up this week, we're speaking to the Lowry about some fun fundraising. We are indeed. And let me just say, after Myra Dubois mentioned him 2 weeks ago, it's been non-stop messaging. So I'm talking fitness therapies with Evan Garrett about all sorts of different things he gets up to. But before all that, yes, Come From Away is at Lowry. And this week I've been speaking to the characters and the real life people that inspired the show. And here's how that went. Couldn't keep up with it, honestly, it'd be a nightmare for me. Introduce yourselves, my loves.
I'm Amanda Henderson, and in Come From Away, I played the wonderful Beulah.
Lovely.
I'm Beulah Cooper, and I'm from the real Beulah from Gander.
The real, isn't that amazing? We'll get back into that in a second.
Hi, I'm Bree Smith, and I play Hannah in Come From Away.
Beautiful collection of ladies here.
And Hannah is the lady that I befriended during Come From Away last year.
Yeah, no, I saw it last night. It's quite amazing.
Thank
I was
you.
sat there, and there's been so much hype around it. I was dubious. Is it going to live up to the hype? Is it as good as what everybody's been saying? Does it deserve all the award? And yes, is the answer. Was what I
Oh,
want.
thank you so much.
100 minutes of a show normally would suggest to me that I'd end up with numb bum, as I call it, numb bum. You know where your bum goes to sleep, and I didn't. It was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so introduce yourselves.
My name is Mark. I play the role of Kevin T in Come From Away.
And I am Kevin Turf, the real Kevin T in Come From Away.
I gave my interview to the writers in 2010 and then didn't see the show until opening night on Broadway 7 years later. Never knew anything about it. I knew one of the other characters in the play who I stayed with on 9/11 said, go see the show, you're going to like what you see. I went to see the show and saw jokes that I had told Irene and David, the writers, stories that I told them.
So, going back to when this was all happening then, I mean, tell us a few things about what happened to you and how that must have made you feel.
Well, I got a phone call. I've been a member of our Royal Canadian Legion in Gander for 36 years. And I love my volunteer work, I'll say that right up front. And I got a phone call asking me to bring a tray of sandwiches to the Legion. I had no clue what it was for, but if Legion wanted a tray of sandwiches, I made them a tray of sandwiches. And when I went down, I said, what's going on? And they said, there's a plane load of people coming in. And I said, oh. I said, how come? Well, apparently the skies are all shut down and there are a lot of planes coming in. So I said, well, in that case, and they're staying the night. I said, well, in that case, I better stay and see what I can do to help.
Amazing.
And the first thing I said was, thank God they're coming here, because I know they will be looked after.
You play other characters in this as well, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
we play loads of different characters. Everyone
as
does.
an actor, it must really tax your brain to go from one to the other.
It did. It's kind of become. It's in my body now, so I'm okay. But yeah, when you're learning it, it's like, what? And what accent is this? What am I doing? What? But I think that the audience come along with that as well. They sort of just, oh, you're wearing a jacket. Oh, you're wearing a hat. You're a different person now. And it's amazing how simple it is, and yet the audience just buy that concept.
So on September 11th, my ex-partner, his name is Kevin, my name is Kevin. We were a couple for 17 years. We're flying from Paris into New York when the airspace was closed, and all of a sudden we start descending over the ocean. Not a good feeling. Plane banks hard to the north. Next thing you know, we say we're landing in Gander, and I didn't know what country that was.
No.
And so I'm the one that said, like, are we in Iceland? And
But that was
But
you.
It was me.
Oh, wow. You're the sensible one.
I know, but I've been drinking a bit.
It's not hard to show somebody that you care about them, that your situation, I've got it. I've got you.
And but then we experienced this amazing kindness and compassion from the people of Gander, and it really was life-changing. And so I went back home to Texas, and I wondered, would we do the same? And so I started a tradition where every year at my company I would give away $100 bills to 40 people and tell them to go do good deeds for strangers, to remember the people who died by doing acts of kindness. And now this has become an international charity, and even here in the UK, there's this wonderful volunteer who's followed the show virtually every stop, doing exactly as we started doing in Texas in 2002.
I mean, you're playing a corker of a pie in this, aren't you? Tell me about your character.
Yeah, so we all get to play somebody who lives in Gander and somebody who comes to Gander.
Yeah.
So I play this wonderful woman called Annette, who has fantasies about all the gorgeous pilots that are arriving. But I also play a person called Beverly Bass, who is the first female American pilot. So she's in the air, she gets diverted, and suddenly she's thrown into this kind of crazy world. She finds out that her friend was flying one of the planes, so she's having to deal with all this personal trauma, but also try and keep her passengers calm and help out. And she's a force of nature. I spoke to Beverly on Zoom, and she's a force of nature. She's incredible. Now we take it for granted that you have women in the cockpit. Then her dad says to her, it's not going to happen. Be patient, you might. And she says, I am going to fly a commercial plane. And she does it.
Right now.
Well, that's where we've just been saying over here, why would you place this show as the Christmas show for Lowry? And the answer is, it's got all the hope that you need for Christmas, hasn't it? I mean, what's it like for you playing this gentleman?
Oh, it's incredible. And I mean, and the thing is as well, getting to know him personally and actually realizing that we're quite similar in so many ways. You know, we're both raised Catholic, we're both gay guys. You know, it's been a really amazing, and we've been knowing each other for a while now, so it's been lovely.
We're friends.
Yeah. So what was it like on that day then? I mean, we see it all on there, but I mean, how accurate have they got this then?
The producers and the writers would be the first ones to tell you that they've tried to make it light where lightness was okay, and tried to bring the seriousness of it without being, there's a word, trying not to be too melodramatic about it, and they've got that perfect.
And as much as the trauma was going on with everything that was surrounding the story, I suppose for a journalist it was quite an exciting lift for you.
The adrenaline, if you could bottle it, you could feed the world. It was crazy because there was all these things happening. There were people feeding them, but there were people entertaining them.
Yeah.
There were people providing for them. There were events in town that would just spring up, and you were saying, okay, there's like a concert up here tonight. Why don't you go to that? There's a bowling tournament over here. The golf course has got special rates on this week. And like, so you were just going with the flow. But the opposite side of that is that you crashed and burned, because I stayed awake for 5 days. And when the 5 days were up, there wasn't day 6 in this carcass.
Yeah.
This was it. I was on full out crash and burn mode that night.
Let's say 10 people come and watch this show. If 9 of those can leave with a bit of a warmer heart, and if they all go out and do some good in the world, then eventually that's going to spread and spread and spread.
Now, next up, we're speaking to Jenny Riding. Now, Jenny is heading up the Lowry's life-changing, socially engaged arts programme, a charity scheme the public know very little about, and we wanted to highlight that fact. So, through creativity and arts, Lowry is providing young people across Salford and Greater Manchester opportunities to explore self-expression and access life-changing opportunities. This year, they are in the midst of creating a live stream of the Julia Donaldson show, Stickman, and Jenny's here to tell us all about it. This is a fantastic time of year that I think we all get very excited about when we hear that the Lowry are launching their festive appeal. People might think that you're kind of begging for money, and in a roundabout kind of way, you're asking for money, but all for very good causes. First of all, tell us, what is the appeal going to encompass, and how can people get involved?
Well, the festive appeal is really important to us because very often people don't know that we do so much charitable work. So we work with about 35,000 children and young people every year using creativity to help some of the people who are most in need. The Festive Appeal specifically funds our work with cared for young people, young carers, young people at risk of homelessness, so living in kind of temporary accommodation units, and also young people who are excluded from mainstream education. So yeah, those are the people that will benefit, I guess, from the support of our amazing audiences.
And why was it important for the Lowry, or Lowry as it's called these days, to get involved with that particular sector?
It's important for us because it supports the work that we do. We literally couldn't do the creative programs that we do without that funding. So we use that money to pay for artists to come and work with young people, for food, for transport to get young people over to the Lowry. Very often, young people that we meet don't know what the Lowry is. They've never been before. They might never have been to see live theatre before or to a gallery. So it's really important to us as a charity to be able to give young people those experiences.
And how are you able to give them their experiences then? Let's kind of cut to the chase. What is it that you're asking for people to get involved in? How can they give to make this a reality?
So we'll be collecting donations all through the festive period. People can throw money in a bucket. They can donate online, which I can give you the URL now. So that is thelowry.com/festive appeal if people want to give online. And we've got tap to donate points throughout the building as well for anybody who doesn't carry cash.
It's amazing, isn't it, to think that a show that, brings so many big shows is bringing so much heart and is doing so much for charity. For you personally, how beneficial is it when you've seen all the money being raised? How does it make you feel?
Oh, it's incredible. Honestly, I am very lucky to have this job, but being able to see young people come through our doors and hopefully stay with us and connected with us for a long time, and seeing the confidence, the growth in them as people, connecting to other young people and building new friendships, the difference in those individuals is incredible, and I'm very lucky to be able to see that. And also things like the festive live stream, which is probably my best bit of my job of the year.
Yeah, tell us all about that.
So we live stream one of our shows. So this year it'll be the Stickman.
Yay.
And that gets live streamed into hospitals and hospices for children who might not be able to go to the theatre with their families at Christmas time because they're receiving treatment and they can't go out and about in public spaces. So we want to be able to give a bit of that Christmas magic to people at a time that might be a really difficult time for families as well, but give them an opportunity to make some memories together.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is your second or third time live streaming to these places.
It is, yeah. This will be our third. We've learned a lot along the way, and we've also increased venues. So we're also going to be live streaming to Alderhay this year, and every time it just gets better and better. And the families, as parents, as much as the children, absolutely love it, and their siblings are often there as well. So it's just absolutely joyous.
Now, for next year, if there is a particular place that wants this to be live streamed to them, is this a possibility? Is this something they can get involved in?
Definitely, yeah. We'd love to be able to reach more children and more young people. So if people want to, just get in touch with getcreative@thelowry.com.
Excellent. It is fantastic what the Lowry do. I mean, like I say, big shows they're known for. Their charity work is not spoke about enough. But let's make that a different thing this year. If people want to get involved in any of the events, then I'm guessing this is the link that they're looking for here. Other than that, it's fantastic. And thank you so much for your time today, Jenny.
Thank you so much for having me, and a Merry Christmas.
Last Wednesday saw music artist Charli XCX kickstart her long-awaited Brat Arena tour, which started in Manchester's Co-op Arena. But was it a successful beginning that captured the spirit of the album? For viewers that may be confused on what I am discussing about, Brat is the 6th studio album by English singer Charli XCX, released on the 7th of June this year. The album draws influence from the 2000s English rave music scene. Tracks from this album include Apple, Guess and 360, which have dominated festival circuits and dance floors across the globe, as well as repeatedly being used by TikTok users. The neon green colour seen on the marketing and the album cover has spread across social media, with many users in the summer using the hashtag BratSummer when posting in relation to this album. This was my first time experiencing an event at the Co-op Live venue, which did have a rocky start, but I can safely say that personally, I found there to be no issues and there wasn't any delays when present during the concert. Staff members were seen handing out free bags of sweets, small tasters of drinks. However, if you wanted a more alcoholic drink, I did think the prices were a bit extreme. Merch stalls could be found on the multiple floors, and the stage area itself was huge. Things have definitely changed since the troubled opening, and definitely for the better. The concert itself was filled with many Brat fans, and it was highly organised. Definitely a night to remember.
I feel about 45 years younger there, everybody. Right, now we're joined by queer wellness and fitness instructor Evan Garrett. Now, his services range from personal training, Swedish massage, and one-to-one dance classes. Sounds like my kind of party. Hello, Evan Flower, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We've got this close for a reason, because we had Myra on the other week, and she could not stop talking about how much you've changed her life with Pilates.
Yeah, Myra's one of my clients.
I mean, it's just amazing. Pilates, what is Pilates?
So, Pilates is a tricky one. I think people have a few misconceptions about it.
Well, it sounds energetic for starters.
It's actually not. It's a lot more mindful. It's a kind of meditative movement, and it's
Have
really
you got to be able
good.
to relax?
You do have to be able to relax.
What would you suggest? Because I'm not one for relaxing. How would you suggest is the best way to relax?
Breathe or white wine.
White wine works, yes, and vodka's always handy as well. It really is. Now, why did you get into this?
So I got into it because I used to be a professional dancer. So
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Where
yes,
did you dance? What have you done?
So I've done a few bits. I did the Royal Variety Show. I was in Hairspray.
Oh!
I've done some, yes.
Hey, that's proper, isn't it?
I know.
Hey, so how does that then take you from being known as the queer fitness guru of Manchester after you've been doing all this?
I think because I've always been quite physical in my work. I've always really enjoyed the kind of looking after our health, looking after our well-being.
Right.
And then also, when you're a dancer, you get every injury under the sun.
Really?
So I had to learn to kind of bounce back from them, and that got me into Pilates.
Oh my goodness me, Pilates. So what is the definition of Pilates then?
So Pilates is a kind of core movement created by a guy called Joseph Pilates.
Right.
Which was actually created to help soldiers recover from war when they got injured.
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of getting your body to work at its most efficient level.
Right.
But doing so without putting it through too much strenuous torture.
Okay, all right then. So we've got the Pilates side. How does that then transcend to being massage?
So I found that I was getting a lot of clients who would get injured. I had a lot of athletes come to me, and I was referring them to other people.
Right.
And naturally, I just wanted that money. So I then started training in massage.
Well, that makes sense. We should say, though, that when you think of queer massage, it normally has a specific ending, doesn't
yeah,
it?
a slightly
This isn't
different
that.
connotation. It is not that, no.
Damn. No, that's fine. So that's what that kind of is then. So for me, who doesn't relax, how would you relax my lovely, lovely shoulders then? What would you be doing to me?
So...
This is how you get a freebie,
Get me,
everybody.
yeah.
There we go. Yes.
So first of all, we just want to
Do I
get
feel
nice and
tense?
wide. Just a little bit.
You want me
little
nice and
bit
wide?
tense. I want you nice and wide. Want to relax these shoulders down.
God.
Oh yeah.
I'm clicking like a box of cornflakes, aren't I? I can feel it.
It's my favourite part though when you hear the clicking. It means it's working.
It is working.
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to lie down now, honestly, with my knitting. I'm not going to do. With my knitting, I do, honestly.
Have that effect on many.
Yes, lovely. So that's massaging. So you do the entirety of the body, would you?
Yes, the entirety of the body.
Right. And then they walk away. I mean, how do they keep... Once you've done all that work, I would imagine as a masseur that you put all that work in, but you know that the people that have come to you are already stress heads.
Yeah.
So how do you keep them calm?
So I think part of it for me is making sure obviously that it's a safe space and like really relaxing environment. But also I do mix my massaging with exercises and stretches that are there to help them maintain what I've done to their bodies.
So is that like blending the massage with the Pilates then?
Yeah, it's a fusion thing that I kind of started just because I hate seeing people with bad posture.
Have my posture all right?
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
What
You could
could
do with a visit.
I could do with a visit. Could do with a lie down. I tell you, that's what I could do with. So you go from that then, you do your massage, you do your Pilates.
Yeah.
I mean, there must come a time when somebody arrives and you just think there's just no helping people.
Thankfully, that's not happened yet.
Not yet.
I like a challenge.
Do you?
Yeah, I get many people that come to me that can't even touch their own toes.
I've not seen them for 10 years.
I'm sure they're very pretty, though.
They're gorgeous, love. You can imagine doing this line of work, how they look, yes. Hey?
Yeah, so I get them in kind of all shapes, but it's the thing about Pilates is it's working within your capacity and your capability. It's not like some other forms of exercise where they try to push the body too quickly. You kind of gradually increase and you work it until you're feeling better.
And does this have to be done in like, I don't know, like you imagine it being done like in a village hall, in a big environment, you need lots of space. Or for people that, you know, mostly in Manchester work behind offices and work behind desks, is this something they can do from behind there?
Literally, you can do Pilates exercises anywhere. I do loads of videos and online tutorials for people who have minimal space. As someone that I lived in London for 10 years.
Yes.
So naturally my flat was
whilst you were in Hairspray.
It was indeed. So naturally my flat was the size of a matchbox. It was really tiny. I had tiny bit of floor space, but you can still exercise within there.
Yeah, so people behind a desk then.
Yep.
So imagine I'm behind a desk and I'm tippy typing.
Yep.
Tippy typing on my computer all day, so my head's going to be aching into it because
Yeah.
what could I do? And so I've got like 3 minutes while I'm waiting for another email to come through. What could I possibly do behind that desk?
Okay, so most important is when you're around a desk, people tend to round.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
something
they
we
do,
call
don't they?
kyphosis.
Yes, I'm looking
Yeah,
at my
some
director
fancy
over there now.
words.
He's
Not
suddenly
sitting
got
up very
taller.
tall.
Yes, right.
So what we want to think about is opening up. And for me, the most important thing is people tend to think it's the upper back.
Yeah.
But actually, it's your shoulders and the front of your chest that you're contracting in.
Right.
That's what's causing the pain because you're pulling too far on these.
Oh.
So a really good reset is just to roll the shoulders up towards the ears.
Up to oh God.
And then drop them up and back.
It's done wonders for the way my chin looks, hasn't it? Right.
And then drop up and back. And then you'll
did you
feel
hear
it.
that?
Yes. But now we can feel that these are starting to work.
Yeah.
It's just a couple of them. If you've got a break, I understand we get busy and you do start to hunch over. I do it as well.
Yeah.
Just a little reminder, maybe once every half hour to roll them back. You'll just feel better.
I do feel better, all right? It's nice. I always get pain in the middle of my back here. Right there.
Yeah, that'll be the same thing.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's just the rounding. It's really common. It's really common.
Just been called common. Delightful. So if people wanted to get in touch with you to embark upon what sounds like one fantastic journey, for want of a better word, how would they go about doing that?
So I have a few different options. I have a website set up, which is Evan Garrett Queer Wellness. And I also have my Instagram, which is where I do a lot of it. I'm on all forms of social media, even the one we're all bailing from and the new one.
All right. Now you say like queer fitness, queer wellness, and all that. Is it just for the LGBT plus community?
It's not. It's for all members of the Alphabet Mafia, including allies.
Right.
I firmly believe that exercise and wellness is for everybody. I just very specifically wanted to offer a safe space for those that don't feel comfortable in a gym setup.
Okay.
You know, I'm very fortunate that I'm trusted with a lot of trans clients in Manchester who maybe don't feel comfortable in a gym, or actually just people who don't like gyms.
I went to a gym once, you know, my personal trainer said to me, he says, what's your favourite machine? I said, vending. I didn't realise that was not an option, to be honest with you, which was quite exciting. So if people get involved with that, then they can go to your website, they can go to your Instagram. What's the ultimate goal for you? Why did you start this journey, and where do you see it progressing to? What would be the goal?
So I started it kind of out of necessity. I just I left education looking for a different challenge, and then this was something I could use that I really enjoyed, and then I just kind of barreled with it. I've only been going for about a year now. So I'm still fairly new in the business world, but long term, I just want to create a full queer safe clinic.
Well, you're doing all right, because people are talking about it. That's why we've got you on. We had Myra on, and then we've had loads of emails. It's been inundated since. I mean, between you and the doorpost, has business picked up since you were mentioned on our programme?
It has. It genuinely has. So thank you.
That's what we're here for. That's what the bill's in the post. Listen, thank you so much for your time today, Evan. There's a lot of things there that we can learn, and more importantly, now I've spoke to you, I'll definitely be booking in myself, so that's all good, isn't it? I look forward to that. So thank you very much, Evan. Right then, well, thanks for joining us, Flowers. Make sure to check out this week's Your Manchester podcast, dropping every Sunday at 7 p.m. Join us next week, where we'll be Mark and I will be talking to some fantastic people only on Your Manchester.